The Kalamazoo City Commission meeting is now called to order. Deputy City Clerk Moss, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Anderson?
Here, and could we have the lights turned down?
Yeah.
I don't know how it shows up on TV.
It's cooler, right?
You just want to look good on television.
Yeah.
Okay, you get that? You getting that? Television? You getting that picture?
All right, back to trying to keep it a little cooler in here, I guess. Commissioner Cooney?
Present.
Commissioner Cunningham?
Here.
Commissioner Sykes? Here. Commissioner Urban? Here. Vice Mayor Knott?
Here.
Mayor Hopewell?
Is there a motion to excuse Mayor Hopewell?
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Urban, supported by Commissioner Cunningham. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right. For opening ceremony, we will have an invocation given by Pastor Steve Johnson from the Oakwood Bible Church. I ask that you please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Will you bow with me in prayer, please? Our Almighty God, I want to thank you for the mercy and the grace that you have extended to this city, and express the desire that we all have that we would first of all walk humbly before you, and then that we would show compassion and kindness and respect to one another. I'm thankful for these city commissioners that you have sovereignly allowed to be placed into these positions of leadership in our city government. And I would ask tonight that you would guide them in the decisions that they make and the discussions that they have related to the government of this city. Give to them wisdom and guidance that only you can give them. And we pray this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commissioners, I would like to introduce a special guest here tonight with us, Senator Margaret O'Brien. She's going to step forward for just a few minutes and give us a budget update.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Knott and City Commission. I appreciate all you do, and I just wanted to come by and give my annual budget update on some of the priorities that you've been working with me on. First, the new Department of Health and Human Services building, of which you have worked with me for over 4 years on, is continuing to move on progress. So thank you for your commitment. I know it's been longer than we anticipated as far as a project, but both Representative Hoadley and I remain committed to it. Now, Representative Hoadley and I did want to give you just some budget updates, good news on some of the priorities for the City of Kalamazoo. First, within the $56.8 billion budget, we will see an increase in fire protection grants, of which the City of Kalamazoo is one of the recipient cities in the state of Michigan. That's to try to compensate you for some of the services that you provide to state buildings, including Western Michigan University. That funding is increasing statewide from $9.3 million to $13.6 million. So we appreciate your partnership in making sure that you let us know the needs and giving us the numbers so we can make the case. Revenue sharing has also seen an increase. Currently today you get a little bit over $9 million, and you're going to see almost a $200,000 increase in revenue sharing from the state. We hope to be able to continue this because we know the valued work that you do, and so thank you again. Probably the best news is we have some supplemental funding available, and it's available now. And I had asked the city manager for a list of projects that were shovel ready. And one of them that the state has chosen to award is $850,000 to redo Portage Street in between Stockbridge and Lovell. So the City of Kalamazoo is seeing an extra $850,000 on top of what we increased statewide for road funding. And I really want to applaud you and your staff for working with me so quickly when I saw that we had this increase of one-time funding for shovel-ready projects. The staff here at City Hall, including your city manager, were very quick at responding because time was very sensitive. Now, some extra highlights. Just In the last 2 years, we spent $2.4 billion as a state on roads, so your message about increasing road funding continues to resonate. We continue to advocate for you, and that includes the extra $330 million that we're spending just this summer on extra projects. K-12 education continues to be a priority, and in this budget, it will be a record-setting $14.8 billion. The state has never spent this much on K-12 education before. We continue to listen, and we remain committed to increasing. That also includes $58 million that's going towards having safer schools, including $30 million for mental health services in the schools. It's essential if we want to deal with not just school violence, but neighborhood violence, that we have services that are available to our young people. And I appreciate all of you reach out to me at different times, and it's very important that we recognize the violence that it's in the neighborhoods, not just the schools. So schools is obviously important, but we know that everyday young people in some neighborhoods are very much at risk, and I want to do what I can to partner with you to make sure those same youth have opportunities. And finally, we continue to pay down Michigan's debt, because how can we have a healthy budget and continue to invest in the priorities that you've given me if we don't reduce our debt? So with the path we're on, Michigan will be debt-free in 2038, so there's still more work to be done. But Representative Hoadley, who couldn't be here tonight, wanted me to express his appreciation for your service, and we remain committed to partnering together. I have to say I really enjoy working with Representative Hoadley, and we've been very effective in our partnership and our advocacy for our entire community. So thank you. Continue to stay in touch with me. Sometimes it takes us a little while, like the DHHS site, to get over the finish line, but we will, and I remain committed to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, you have in front of you the proposed agenda for tonight's meeting. Are there any changes? Commissioner Sykes?
Yeah, I'd like to pull number 6 from the consent agenda to the regular agenda.
Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak to items on the, on the consent agenda? Those items are listed in section F. Please indicate those items so that they I apologize, I can't talk tonight, so that they can be moved to the regular agenda. Okay. Deputy City Manager Moore, communications, please.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The City Commission will meet in special session on next Monday, June 25th, 2018 at 6 p.m. in the community room at City Hall. At this meeting, the City Commission will receive a presentation regarding Shared Prosperity Kalamazoo and consider appointments to the Shared Prosperity Kalamazoo Organizing Committee. That is all.
Thank you. Next, we're at item E, public hearings. Deputy City Manager.
Like the public hearing is to receive comments regarding the draft 2018 action plan as required by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The action would be motion 1 to accept the recommendations of the Community Development Act Advisory Committee and adopt the program year 2018 action plan. And 2, authorize the Director of Community Planning and Economic Development to act as the official representative of the city and to sign all required HUD documents. We will have a presentation.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Community Investment is here to request that you approve the 2018 action plan, which is year 5 of our 2014-18 consolidated plan. This is our last action plan for our current consolidated plan. A quick overview of our HUD process. In September of 2017, 2 pre-submission trainings were held for potential applicants to request funding for the 2018 program year for affordable housing. In February of 2018, CDAC voted to fund approved 2018 applicants as follow. Community Homeworks, $150,000. Senior Services, $125,000, bringing a total of $275,000 for our CDBG funding. Home Investment Partnership applicants were New Horizons, which is $118,000. Habitat for Humanity, $100,000. Kalamazoo Neighborhood Housing Services, $75,000, bring the total to $293,000. For the first time, community investment will fund a code enforcement repair pilot program in the amount of $125,000. The program will address code violations for distressed properties of low-income residents. Our 2018 budget. Included in the 2018 budget are funding for public safety, parks and recs, code enforcement, and residential demolition. On April 13th, CDAC held their public hearing and recommended that the action plan be forwarded to City Commission to hold a public hearing and approve the 2018 action plan. Our 2018 HUD allocations are as follows. For our CDBG program, $1,618,823. For our home program, $531,580. For ESG, we did not have any allocation for this year due to our score not meeting the 0.5 threshold determined by the American Community Survey. The final step for this process after tonight's public hearing and approval is submission to HUD no later than June 30th of this month, 2018. At this time, I would like to welcome Tammy Ray, our Community Development Advisory Committee Chair, to the podium to say a few words.
Thank you. Good evening. I just want to say thank you for seeing the value and the importance of our committee and considering our recommendations. Thank you.
That was real quick. At this time, I would thank you for your consideration this evening. Any questions?
Commissioners, do we have any questions for the presenters?
Question, I have a statement. Is that okay? Do a statement?
Keep
Okay.
it short, keep it short.
It will be real short. I want to thank you, the staff, and the volunteers for all the great work. I think you have done the best job that you can do, but the money is way too short.
Thank you.
And I want to express my dismay that the federal government fails to allocate the resources that we need to make sure that our people have a decent place to live. And I really believe that we have a public policy emergency here in the city with so many of our kids in public schools not having a place to live. But you've done your job, and I commend you for it. I think you've done the best you can with what you got.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cunningham?
I want to also echo the sentiments of my colleague, Commissioner Cooney. Also, I had a question. When is our next consolidated plan due?
Well, that will be with our 2019.
So it's about 2 more
year.
years.
Yes.
1 year.
Well, really it's 1 year because we start working on it in November of this year.
Okay.
Yes.
Commissioner?
Have the guidelines for the next consolidated plan changed materially? Are you aware of anything that's in the works that may be coming down from the new administration that's going to affect us?
Not anything that I'm familiar with, and due to the fact this is my first consolidated plan, everything is really going to be new to me.
Okay. Okay. Well, I was, if you knew, I was just wanted you to share it, but I guess we're all in the dark.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Sykes?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if I'm saying this right. You said Code Enforcement Repair Fund? Did I get that right?
It is our code enforcement repair pilot program.
Pilot program.
Yes.
Awesome, for low-income homeowners. I just want to commend you all for that being in there. Maybe it was in there before and I just never knew, but no,
First
it's a
time.
pilot, so it's
Yes.
new.
Yes.
Goodness gracious, it's been one of those days. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that.
Thank you.
I know that is very much needed in our city, in our communities, and I'm so grateful to hear that that is underway, and I look forward to the results from the pilot so that we can do more. So thank you so much for that. And I agree with Commissioner Cooney and Commissioner Cunningham that, yeah, the feds are
Thank you.
not doing enough. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for the presenter? If anyone in the audience would like to speak about the draft 2018 action plan, please come to the podium, state your name, and whether or not you live in the city. You'll have 4 minutes for your comments.
My name is Dana Underwood. I live in the Stewart neighborhood, and I'm a member of the CDAC committee. And I, too, want to echo Commissioner Sykes' enthusiasm about the pilot program, because one of the conversations that we have repeatedly in the committee is, how do we help people who don't have the capacity, financial capacity, to fix their homes when they have problems? And, you know, KNHS helps, senior services, or senior housing helps, but it is crucial that people have access to assistance when they have problems with their homes, because if they don't, the problems only get worse. I live in a really old house, I know that, but any house, the problems get worse, and so it's so important to be able to do this, and we haven't had it before, and I'm really pleased that it's been put into the program this year, and I think you know, now we can move on to discuss other challenges in the committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments by citizens? I will now close the public hearing. Commissioners, is there a motion to, 1, accept the recommendations of the Community Development Act Advisory Committee and adopt the program year 2018 action plan, and 2, authorize the Director of Community Planning and Economic Development to act as the official representative of the city and sign all required HUD documents?
Support.
Is there a second?
So moved.
Okay.
Support.
All right, motion by Commissioner Sykes, supported by Commissioner Urban. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Deputy Clerk Moss, please call the roll.
Commissioner Cooney?
Yes.
Commissioner Cunningham?
Yes.
Commissioner Sykes?
Yes.
Commissioner Urban?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Knott?
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson?
I will have to abstain because I am associated with one of the nonprofit entities. I'm a volunteer board member that is the recipient of one piece of this allocation.
Next is the consent agenda. Deputy City Manager.
Vice Mayor, on the consent agenda this evening, we have 6 items. The motion is to approve items 1 through 5 and hold item 7 until July 2nd, 2018, and authorize the city manager to sign all documents on behalf of the city. Consent agenda item number 1, approval of a 1-year term contract for lubricants with Merle Bowes for an amount not to exceed $100,977.76. Approval number 2, approval of the contract with Michigan Department of Transportation in the amount of $129,033 for the Pitcher Street Improvement Project. Item number 3 is the approval of a change order with the Michigan Department of Transportation in the amount of $261,772 for the West Michigan Howard Street Multiple Intersections Project for a total city cost share $509,772. Item number 4, approval of a 3-year agreement with OpenGov, Inc. for the OpenGov suite of software to include OpenGov, Open Town Hall, and Open Data, with the total contract amount not to exceed $245,910.48. Item number 5 is approval of the purchase of networks, hardware, and installation services from Data Strategies in the amount of $709,543.48 and established capital project for this work. And item number 7 is the adoption of a corrected resolution vacating the public alley between North Park and Cooley Street and rescinding resolution number 18-11, and the action is to hold until July 2nd, 2018.
Thank you. Commissioners, the requested action is to approve items 1 through 5 of the consent agenda, hold item 7 until July 2nd, 2018, and authorize the city manager to sign all documents on behalf of the city. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Anderson, supported by Commissioner Cunningham. Deputy Clerk Moss, please call the roll.
Commissioner Cunningham?
Yes.
Commissioner Sykes?
Yes.
Commissioner Urban?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Knott?
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The items on the consent agenda have been approved. The regular agenda?
Vice Mayor, on the regular agenda, we have one item. Item number 6 from the consent agenda, approval of a brownfield plan redevelopment and purchase agreement regarding the sale of Lot 2, 424 South Rose Street to 400 Rose LLC and Park at Cedar 2 LLC.
Commissioners, the requested action is to approve the brownfield plan redevelopment and purchase agreement regarding the sale and to have the city manager sign all documents on behalf of the city. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Urban, supported by Commissioner Cooney. Are there any discussion items? What's that? Public comment first? Okay. Yeah, Commissioners. Is there any questions of the Commissioners' comments, discussion before I open it up for public comment?
Questions or discussion, is that what you said? Okay, thank you. I'll speak to why I pulled it from the consent agenda and brought it to the regular agenda. I really just did that because I want to reiterate my hope and really expectation that as we move forward with this project, the city staff will be working with these developers to see what ways they can help to support some of our community needs, especially given the fact that these types of developments typically raise rents around those areas. And so, you know, I'm concerned as we develop, I've said this before, that we will be displacing folks in our neighborhoods. And so that's all. I want to reiterate that expectation and just say that I hope that in the future we will, I know this particular development does not have affordable housing. I hope that we will start to require real affordable housing as opposed to workforce housing. But I still think there are some amazing things that we could do. So thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone in the audience wish to speak to this item, please come forward, state your name and whether you live in the city. You'll have 4 minutes. Seeing no one, just go with the vote. Okay. Any other comments from the commission? Deputy Clerk Moss, please call the roll.
Commissioner Sykes?
Yes.
Commissioner Urban?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Knott?
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney?
Yes.
Commissioner Cunningham?
Yes.
Item 6 on the regular agenda has been approved. Thank you, Commissioners. Next are reports and legislation. Deputy City Manager, do you have any reports?
No report this evening.
City Attorney? No. Okay. Deputy City Clerk, do you have a report?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. We are now to citizen comments. Does anyone in the audience wish to address the commission? If so, please come forward. You'll have 4 minutes, and before you begin, if you could state your name and whether or not you live in the city.
I'm Nehemiah Scudder, and I live within the city. I don't know just how to word this. I don't want to offend anybody, but we need more interaction, I believe, between our political people like you all and the religious people of our community, such as the minister who took off after he gave the prayer. We don't have enough serious involvement by ministers in our politics. And contrary-wise, I'd like to invite any of you that would like to come to my church on Sunday. It's the Second Missionary Baptist Church, kitty corner to the Metro Transit offices. I go there on Sundays usually. I didn't go last Sunday because I visited another church. But I believe if we're going to answer some of the serious questions we've got in the city, like our streets are not safe enough, people get shot from drive-by vehicles, families are not doing too well, they're falling apart in our city. We need to unify the approach of politics and religion, I believe. Well, I know there's an old saw that says politics and religion should be kept separate. I believe the time has come to drop that and try to work within a joint task force between politics and religion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to address the commission? All right, commissioners, we're now at commissioner comments. Commissioner Sykes?
Yeah, first off, I just want to apologize for me being so tongue-tied this evening. It's been a really long week already, and it's just Monday. You know, a lot of busy stuff happening at work, and also I've been melting all day, which I'm sure folks can relate to. Just a reminder to check in on folks, friends, family, neighbors who don't have air conditioning. I do not have air conditioning, and my children have also been melting. So just check in, popsicles, frozen fruit, and water. So I got a text message just as we were sitting here from Pastor Stein, and I know he's watching, so I better go ahead and share this with you all. Unfortunately, due to a lack of funding, God's Kitchen of Michigan will have to suspend their Friday dinner service effective June 29th. And they will continue their free Wednesday dinner program until further notice. If anybody would like to stop that from happening, the suspension of Friday's dinner service, they can donate at gofundme.com/God'sKitchenMI. And if you all remember, that was the organization that provides free meals on Wednesdays and Fridays to our homeless population. They simply come in, they get however many meals they need for their families, including their children. They're really amazing meals, by the way. And then they're able to go on their way. This is also an organization working to raise money to have food trucks so that they can actually take this service on the road throughout our neighborhoods, knowing that not everybody is going to be able to get to them. So please, 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 answer the call if you feel so moved to give to this organization, and I'm sure they will continue to do great work. And that's it for me tonight. Stay cool.
Commissioner Anderson? Commissioner Cooney? Commissioner Urban? Commissioner Cunningham?
You know, I got a few words. In regards to CDAC and the consolidated plan, as we know, this is a unique board. One thing about Kalamazoo is there's not many other municipalities in the state of Michigan that has a citizen-ran board to help govern these funds. And with the consolidated plan, let's just keep in mind that this is a very engaging process, very similar to what we dealt with the SBK or the Shared Prosperity, which is also, side note, this coming Monday, we have a workshop for Shared Prosperity here in the community room, 6 p.m. this Monday. But going back to the consolidated plan, very engaging. As Cooney stated, with less dollars, we have to find more ways to be more unique and targeted. I know last time that this process ran, I know one of the major issues was employment, and so as they went around to each community, that's one of the key terms was employment. So I know that these dollars doesn't necessarily get targeted for employment, but to find unique ways to make sure that that's an underlying side effect. I think that is all I had for my notes. And also just want to wish my mother a very happy birthday on today, the queen of my life, who helped raise me and create the individual that I am today. Happy belated Father's Day to all the gentlemen out there who have done an amazing job with their children also. It is not always easy to be a parent, and I am assuming that that sacrifice and dedication always doesn't get rewarded, but hopefully yesterday you got the big item, big ticket item, and that's always love for me. Talk to you guys later.
Thank you. I'll just briefly, I want to give a shout out to a crew of men from our Public Works Department that came to my home late last week. I think some of you are aware that I had a sewer backup a few weeks ago. It's tree roots are they're working against me here, folks. But there was a group of guys that came over. I appreciate Director Baker and his team, but I don't know if these gentlemen were tipped off that I'm on the Kalamazoo City Commission. Maybe they knew who I was, maybe they didn't. But the customer service and the patience and how they went through the process with me, and they went back and forth with the camera showing me not only the sewer main, but my lateral to look at kind of the problems. They detailed the next steps. I mean, it was just top-notch service. So I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that crew of folks that came out last week. With that, we are adjourned.